Hey everyone, so today we're going to make a pizza, and it's a really simple recipe. Again, there's only 4 ingredients for the base, and I'm just going to start by showing you the first ingredient is going to be an acorn squash, and I wanted to show you this before I cut it up because it's so pretty and beautiful. So I got this one from the market here in Patagonia, and obviously it's organic and it's grown locally as well. So we're also going to be adding to the base for this pizza some green hemp seed meal. And green hemp seed meal is really great. It's a little bit different to the hemp seeds on their own. You get a little bit more fibre, and then the great part to it is you also get a little bit more chlorophyll because you're actually getting the green part to the seed. And then the next ingredient is going to be chia seeds, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to prepare your chia seeds. I find that a lot of these pizza bases out there in the raw food world are all based on flax, and too much flax in the body can first of all clog things up a little bit, and it doesn't always agree with everybody. So I find chia seeds are a really good replacement for that. And then the last ingredient is going to be lots and lots of basil. So I'm just going to go and chop up this squash, and I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, so I just finished chopping up my acorn squash, and I just wanted to let you know that you don't have to use an acorn squash. You can use any kind of squash, or really nice one is to use sweet potato, which I think here in the States is called yams, and it's the kind of potato which is like an orangey colour on the inside, and you can actually eat those raw. There's no problem with eating that type of potato raw at all. It's really nice and sweet and creamy. But we're using the acorn squash. It gives it a really nice taste. It's quite simple, and that's about 6 ounces worth of acorn squash there. So whatever you're going to use about 6 ounces. And then I just wanted to show you the chia seeds. So what I've got here is 3 tablespoons of chia seeds, and when you're going to use chia seeds in your recipes, you want to soak them first, because chia seeds actually absorb about 9 times their weight in water. So all I'm going to do, and this is a really good trick, is add some water into this jar, all the way up to the top, and rather than like stirring it for ages and ages and ages, you can just shake it like that. Make sure you put the lid on tight. Alright, and leave them like that in the refrigerator for at least an hour. An hour should do it. I usually leave mine overnight. Okay, so here is some chia seeds which have been soaking overnight. Some I prepared earlier. And I just want the people at home to see. It kind of looks a little bit like jelly, frog spawn or something like that. It's really thick. So chia seeds are cool. You can add them to anything to make it thicker, and they're completely neutral in taste. They don't taste like anything. But the really cool thing about them is that they're a really good balance of all the omegas, 3, 6s and 9s. So you're going to get everything you need in your smoothies or whatever. Alright, so we're going to throw that into the food processor, and it's probably figuring out to be, before we add the water, about 3 ounces worth of chia seeds, or like I say, 3 tablespoons. It doesn't really matter, you know, this is a very approximate recipe. I'm just going to put it all into the food processor. I use chia seeds all the time, so that batch that I just showed you isn't going to go to waste. I'll use them tomorrow. Alright, so this is your hemp seed meal, and again, it's about 3 ounces. And as you can see, hemp seed meal is not like the seeds, it's ground a little, and so you might also find it called hemp seed fines. Right. So that's going into the food processor, and what I'm going to do first is just going to give this on its own a little blend, just to break down the chia seeds a bit, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so to that we're going to add our 6 ounces of acorn squash. And we're also going to add our big bunch, or big handful of basil. Alright. Oh, and then, of course, just to finish, a little pinch of salt, or a big pinch of salt, I'm finding that with the recipes that I make, lots of people are like, it's not salty enough. And I think that's just because my taste buds are probably not really into salt that much anymore. So you really just got to go to your own taste. So I'm going to add a bit more than I usually would. And another blend. So that, by the way, is all your ingredients for the base of your pizza. Chia seeds, hemp seed meal, an acorn squash, and some basil. And that's it, nothing else. Processing that for a while, and you can see the kind of consistency is. It's thick, and there's still a few chia seeds left in there visible, and it's green. I just wanted to say as well, the recipe for the base is really, really simple because we're going to end up adding on top of that some cheese made from the cashew nuts. If you look at some previous videos, you can learn how to make that. We're also going to add like a tomato sauce. So if you do that kind of thing, then you want to have the base fairly simple so you've not got too much flavours going on. Alright, so we're going to need to dehydrate that into a pizza shape. So what I've done is I've just taken the dehydrator tray, and this is a really handy hint for those of you at home who've got a dehydrator. If you want, you can use a little bit of grease-proof paper or wax paper on your dehydrator tray like that, or if you have Teflon sheets, you can just use the Teflon sheets. And that's going to make it much easier to peel the base away from your dehydrator tray. And then, to make a perfect pizza shape, I've just taken a cake tin, and we're going to put that onto the grease-proof paper or the wax paper, and spoon the mixture into the middle. And then you're just going to press it down into a pizza shape. So this is something that you need to prepare the night before. It usually takes about 16 hours to dehydrate this. Alright, so as you can see, this is going to make one big pizza, or if you want, you can make two small pizzas. And it's going to be quite a thick base. I was one of those people who always used to like the thick crust pizzas. I'm sure lots of people at home will agree. Those were always the best. But if you want a thin crust pizza, then just use less, half the mixture. And it's also going to take much less time to dehydrate something like that. So just spread it out nice and evenly onto the tray. Make it smooth, doesn't really matter. And then obviously you don't want to dehydrate your cake tin, because that wouldn't be very good. So once you've finished making your circle, just lift the cake tin off and you'll have your perfect pizza shape. Alright, so from here we're going to put this into the dehydrator for at least 16 hours, and after 4 hours we're going to flip it and continue for the final 12 hours. But it might be that you need to do less. If you've got a thinner base, it might be that you need to do more because it is quite a moist mixture. But this is going to give you a really nice soft centered pizza. When I made this a couple of weeks ago, everyone was like, oh my god, that's so amazing, especially the cameraman. He was like, wow, it's so soft and chewy in the center. So you're going to love this. It's a really good recipe. So I'll see you again in a mo. Well, it'll actually be tomorrow when this is dehydrated and we're going to decorate our pizza. It's been about 20 hours in total that the pizza was in the dehydrator. What I did was after 5 hours, I flipped it over and I put it back in for another 15 hours, and you can see it's come really, really good. I actually don't know why people don't use chia seeds more often for pizzas like this. It's still slightly moist, but not totally dry like a dried out flax cracker or something. So I'm just going to set that to one side, and we're going to really quickly make the tomato sauce. So first of all, for the tomato sauce on your pizza, you're going to need 1 onion, 1 clove of garlic, I'm going to break that down, and I've taken about 6 Roma tomatoes. These are really beautiful and they have a gorgeous Italian sauce taste to them. And we're also going to add some Italian seasoning, and as I taste it I might add a little sweetener, but I just see how it goes. So I'll see you again in a second. Okay, so for the tomato sauce, it's really simple and really easy. Like I say, 6 plum-sized tomatoes. I chose Roma tomatoes. And just chuck them all into your Vitamix. I actually decided just to go for half an onion, so I've just chopped that up nice and small. That goes into your Vitamix. You can really just make it up, it depends on your taste. But I decided to go for 2 cloves of garlic. It's going to be raw garlic that's in there, so you remember that's going to taste quite strong. And then I'm going to add, as I go, the Italian seasoning. I've got about a tablespoon here. Still filming me? Oh. Alright, we're going to add a big pinch of salt. Whatever. Give it another blend. Okay, so we just had a little taste. It tastes amazing. Do you want to have a little look, Mr. Cameraman? Thank you. It's quite garlicky, so you've got to like garlic, but I think it needs a little bit of sweet, so I'm going to add some of this really raw honey. This is my favourite honey, it's so creamy and delicious. I'm going to add about a teaspoon. Let's not be too specific about these things and precise. Alright, and we're just going to give it another blend and make sure that it's all nice and blended. I want this to be really smooth. Beautiful! So as you can see, it's nice and smooth. I'm just going to have a little taste. Perfect. We've just finished making the tomato sauce, and I've also got over here some of the cashew cheese that we made for you last time, and I'm going to post a video for that down below so you can have a look and find out how to make cashew cheese. And remember, if you don't have cashew nut butter, you can always just use straight cashew nuts. Okay, so we're going to just put the pizza together. We've got the tomato sauce, and you just want to put that onto your pizza and spread it around. This is really funny for me because I actually used to work in a pizza restaurant. So I remember doing this and then putting it into the oven. But of course, we're not going to put it into the oven. We're just going to eat it like this. We're going to keep all the nutrients alive and bouncing. You can put as much or as little as you like. So you can see the tomato sauce that I made, it's actually made quite a lot, and it's going to serve you for a few days or for a few recipes. You can use it as a dip, as a salsa, with kale chips, whatever you want. I'm just going to put that to one side and get our spoon. And then finally, on top of that, we're going to put some cheese. And you can just spread this about, or you can put it in lumps, whatever you want. And like I said previously, the base for this is really quite simple. There's not too much flavourings in it. So that's why we've made the cheese and the tomato sauce really flavourful. Okay, so we've spread out the cheese really beautiful on the pizza, and we just had a brilliant idea. In the refrigerator, I had some of the Vivapura sun-dried red botija olives, which are amazing. There you go. Sorry, the bag's a little bit bashed up. They're so juicy, absolutely unbelievable. So I'm just going to put, as a treat, a few of these on top for a true Italian style pizza. And then to finish, I'm just going to put a little garnish of cilantro in the middle. And a little sprinkling of some black pepper. And there you have it. Your very own raw pizza. Bellissimo! Enjoy!